Fiona Hornby, your local candidate, a candidate from the constituency and a candidate for the constituency. I've lived here for over 20 years and I'm going to say what I think. When I'm elected, I'm going to represent all of us who live in this rural constituency. My wife from Aldbourne phoned NHS Direct because her husband was in a lot of pain. Aldbourne is about 5 miles from the Swindon Hospital. NHS Direct told her to take him to Chippenham, about 30 miles away. So she took her poor husband to Chippenham, where he was assessed, and they said, take him to Swindon Hospital. And back they went. This is absolutely outrageous. We need a minor injuries unit in this area. In Devizes, we have the opportunity to put pressure on the PCT to include minor injuries in the services that they are planning to provide in a primary care centre. So please, sign the petition and let's see if this time we can make the PCT listen to us. This morning I learned of the sad death of an officer from Tidworth. He survived Afghanistan, but not the state of our roads. He was cycling from Tidworth to Burbage and went to avoid a massive pothole and was hit, knocked down and killed by a lorry. The pothole has since been filled in. But I could point to any number of other large potholes all over this area waiting for unwary cyclists. This Conservative-led council, which gave us unitary status and promised us that the efficiency cuts that it would make would give it more money to do all the things that needed doing, has failed. They have not mended the roads. We do not have a lower council tax. In fact, we are faced with a higher than average council tax. If this is what the Conservatives do when they are using efficiency savings to move forward, heaven help this country if they are elected. The Liberal Democrats won't just leave it to efficiency savings. We know the things that we will cut, and we will make sure that the country is safe. On Friday, I watched a Wadsworth dray horse pull up to the wharf in Devizes. Now, Wadsworth do a lot of their deliveries around Devizes using horses, but on this occasion they were delivering beer to the wharf side so that it could be transferred to a canal barge that then took the beer up the canal to a pub at Horton. This is truly sustainable transport, or put another way, a joined-up journey. We have to take these kind of initiatives seriously if we're going to tackle CO2 emissions caused by freight transport. Many of our pretty rural towns are blighted by air pollution hotspots, places where the air quality is so bad that by law something is going to have to be done, probably diverting traffic. Recently I visited Earlstoke Prison and some of the prisoners wanted to talk to me about the rehabilitation services for drug addicts. They were very concerned because one of their number had killed himself. Later on, when I talked to a local police commander about how the drugs get into the prison, he told me that they are literally thrown over the perimeter fence at night. It seems to me ridiculous that we cannot organise patrols of prison staff inside and police outside to prevent this kind of thing from happening. However, to do that we need police numbers, and Liberal Democrats are determined to reverse the recent cuts in police numbers locally and also to do something about the rehabilitation services in prison. It is pointless to take somebody into prison for a drug-related offence and then not to treat them so that they are not going to re-offend the moment they come out. It is this re-offending rate which is so high and is the cause of prison overcrowding and ultimately of the much hated early release schemes. The Chamber of Commerce has been telling me that the banks are not lending to local businesses, that long-standing customers of banks are finding that they cannot get loans to expand or to diversify their business, simply because banks have decided that instead of knowing their customer and what their customer is doing, that they decide regionally that they will not invest in certain sectors of the economy. This is bad for local business and it's bad for individuals. Some have found other banks to be more receptive. Interestingly, I was told it is not only the so-called nationalised banks who are behaving like this, it is all of the banks. Liberal Democrats want to do something about this funding gap for small businesses by setting up local equity funds to allow local people to invest in their own local economy and to provide an alternative source of funding for local business. Everyone has been talking about care for the elderly recently. I looked after my mother. I saw what care in the community amounted to, and I hate to think what would have happened to her if she'd truly been on her own. This is a problem that we all face and we need to do something about. The Liberal Democrats believe that this item is something that should have cross-party agreement because it is so important. But if we can't get that cross-party agreement, we will make decisions and we will act quickly. We need every school to be a good school here. We don't have choice. Your child will go to the school that you are in the catchment area of. Otherwise, it's a very long school day and expensive travel costs. A pupil in Marlborough told me that it costs him and his parents £10 a day for him to go to school. Liberal Democrats believe that education is the one area where we need to increase spending. We need to reduce class sizes in order to improve the outcomes for all children. I have visited both state and private schools that have sixth forms, and all of those students are worried about what is going to happen to them when they come out of university with enormous student debt. It is actually putting some of them off the idea of going to university. The Liberal Democrats will abolish tuition fees. We will phase them out over 6 years, starting with the third-year students. It is reported that when the police find a suspected illegal immigrant under the age of 16, they are instructed to go to an immigration centre. These young people may not speak English and probably have no money, but we just send them off. We really do have to apply some common sense to situations like these.